Hey everybody, welcome to episode 19. Today we're going to talk about the Hallicrafters 5R41 radio. It's this radio right here. We've gone through this one before. This is the one where I basically recapped it and re-resisted it, and it was dead as a doornail. So if you recall, I decided I was going to rip out the wiring because the tube sockets were bad. At least one was, and I'm just gonna kind of walk through where I am with that today, and I want to clear up something as well. So let me just walk through where the radio is currently. So you'll see that I've got the entire chassis stripped out. I've taken everything off except for these cans, and I've actually cleaned it and gotten a lot of the dirt off of it. The back looks the same. The front looks the same. Underneath, the only thing I have left to do here is to clean up these connections. And I'll zoom in a little bit on that so you can see them. So I need to clean up the connections on these coils, on the IF adjustment, and on these coils down here. Okay? And once I get all those cleaned up and ready to start assembling, when I get my tube sockets in, I'll be able to get that going along. So that's where I am there. As you notice, I've taken it apart. So I took the opportunity to take the tuning cap and put that in the ultrasonic cleaner. And I've applied some white lithium grease on the bearings right here, and it's as smooth as can be. So that's good. This is ready to go. This is the speaker baffle that goes over the speaker. Just a piece of cardboard, multi-layer, like so. So that's ready to go. Then I have my speaker. Okay, it's got the output transformer. Excuse me, and I haven't cleaned this up yet. I'm just going to clean it very gently with some alcohol. You'll notice that I did have to do a repair right here, and I basically used a piece of toilet paper and some glue, and I'm going to go back and touch over this part here, but the cone is in good shape. This is one of the coils that are on the back of the radio, right here, and I tested the coil. The coil is good, so I know that that's in good shape. Here's the faceplate. I've taken it off and cleaned it, so it's ready. And then we've got our dial pointer right here. Alright, we're going to put these away for safekeeping. Now what I wanted to talk to you about was this this inductor that I have in the radio. Let me take a sip of coffee here. So this inductor that I have in the radio has caused quite a bit of debate, even for myself, because I wasn't exactly sure what it did. But let me describe for you what it is, where it's placed, and how I'm going to address it. So first of all, the inductor sits in the tube filament line string, right? So let's say I've got my 3V4, which is my output tube. Okay? This is pin 1. What happens is my power comes down here from the rectified circuit. And I'm supposed to have 6.8 volts here, right? These are 3-volt tubes, right? It's a 3-volt tube. I'm supposed to have 6.8 volts here. Out of pin 1, you have an inductor, like so. And then that goes to pin 7 of the IF tube, which I believe is the 1R5, I believe. Okay? So here's our inductor. Now, the value of the inductor is microhenries, and its maximum DC resistance is 2.2 ohms. It's commercially impossible to buy one of those. Can't do it. They don't exist. I've tried. I've called Mouser, I've called DigiKey, I've looked on eBay, I've looked everywhere. It's impossible to get a filter choke of that value. Now, I'm going to show you on the diagram, just to give you a point of reference, right here. I'm going to zoom in for this. Okay, you see where it says L7 right there? L7 filter choke. DC resistance 2.2 ohms. We slide across. 16.2 microhenries. Okay? So that's the part. So here's what I'm going to do. The purpose of that inductor is really nothing more than line suppression. And through a friend, I was able to confirm that all it's really doing is doing noise suppression. Okay? It's not a critical part to the radio. You could actually take it out and it would probably be fine, except it's looking for resistance there. So the plan is going to be that I'm going to take a resistor that is 2.2 ohms, 2 watts, and that's going to go in its place right here. Now I know some of you are going to say you can't do that, you can't replace an inductor with a resistor. It's really meant for noise. That's what I believe it is, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a 2.2 ohm resistor in its place. It's a 2 watt. It'll never get hot. There's nothing flowing through these tubes, through this filament circuit, right? It's very, very low, right? These are 1 volt tubes. This is a 3 volt tube. There's hardly anything flowing through here. The only issue you'll have, or I'll have, is when you first turn it on, and right, and these filaments are cold, and there's a surge going through them. But I guarantee you that this resistor will never ever get hot, ever. Okay? So that's how I'm going to address that problem. Okay, so once I put my tube sockets in, I'm going to make sure I put that resistor in there. And that's how I'm going to address it. To show you the schematic, just to give you the visual, I've already explained it, but I'm going to show you anyway. We're going to zoom in right here. Okay. Here's my 3V4 audio output tube. 6.8 volts come in, goes in on pin 7, center tapped with a resistor to ground, comes out of 1, goes to another 1K resistor to ground, and here's our L7. This is our filter choke. Goes right to this capacitor, which is 400 microfarad, okay? 16 volts. It's a 16 volt cap. There's nothing much going on there. It's just a filter. It's filtering out noise. That's all it's doing. And it comes across here to V2, pin 7, and then of course 1 and 5 are tied together. It goes to 7, and the string continues all the way to V3, which goes to ground. So, so that's the way I'm going to address it. So the plan is going to be that we do it that way. So I wanted to clear that up. I know every one of you are trying to be helpful and tell me I need to put the inductor in there and you can't take it out and that kind of thing, which I value your opinions, of course. But you know, in this particular case, it was odd to me that it's sitting in a filament string, right? And what exactly is it doing in there? Now, of course, if it's open, your filaments aren't going to work because it's directly connected, which is the problem I had. But that's the way I'm going to address it. So I wanted to make sure I gave you that update. I'll have my tube sockets in a couple of days. I'm also going to have my my can. Remember I told you, excuse me, that I ordered a multi-cap right here. It was $9, 2 50s, 500 volts. Going to go right up here, and that's going to be how I address the 2 major caps in this radio. Which there's one right here, attaches to the speaker. It's 40 microfarad. Okay, and then there's one more over here somewhere, right there. It's a 60, and that's in the power supply string. It's a 60. Again, I'm getting one rated for 500 volts. So I've got my 2 filter caps here. I've got this 416 down here, and I'm good to go. Rewiring this thing, I know some of you are concerned that the way that they build these things, the wires are optimally run for least amount of noise. I do have it all documented, and I'll be ready to put it back together. Of course, I'm going to replace some of these components. We've got some old capacitors here, definitely out of tolerance, and we're gonna make this thing sing again. Okay, so that's the plan. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I appreciate all of you and all the help that you give me. I really do. I learn from it every day, and that's what it's all about. So if not, It's all good. So you folks have a great night. Take care. This is Ron.